Hi, I'm Jack Moody. Welcome to my presentation. I looked at where to work between Morgan Stanley and the UBS Group. When we're looking at where to work, we'd be looking at the soon-to-be graduates, and these graduates will be looking for secure employment opportunities, compensation to help pay upcoming student loans, as those will likely be due about 6 months after the graduate is finished with school, the professional development opportunities, their location, and the overall success of the company. So the evaluation criteria for these companies would be size and history, market position and growth potential, ability to compete, financial analysis, corporate culture, and why not to work for that company. So we look at the size and history of these companies first. Morgan Stanley was founded September 16th, 1935. And in their first year, they handled $1.1 billion of private placements and public offerings. The company was formed due to the forced split with J.P. Morgan, as they were no longer allowed to do private real estate and a few other private placements and public offerings together. The Investment Banking Act split that up. They joined the New York Stock Exchange in 1942. And they merged with the Dean Witter Discover & Co. in February of 1997. They are currently headquartered in New York City, and they employ over 60,000 employees. The UBS Group was founded as the bank in Winterthur, that is in Switzerland, in April of 1862. They merged with the Toggenburger Bank to become the Union Bank of Switzerland, now known as UBS, and they grew to large proportions after the Banking Secrecy Act allowed Swiss banks to become more secretive than any other type of bank on earth. There's a lot of illegal investments that have possibly happened with these Swiss banks, not UBS in particular, to name any names, but UBS and SBC was another Swiss bank, and they competed heavily with each other before 1998, and they combined in 1998 and changed their name to the UBS Group AG. Today, they are the leader in private wealth management, and they employ over 66,000 employees as of 2018. Morgan Stanley, for their market position and growth potential, they currently rank third in the global market share revenue. They control 6.1% of investment banking market shares, and Wall Street currently is predicting them to gain $8 billion in extra revenue earnings from mid-2016 to 2022. The UBS Group manages the most private wealth in the entire world. Half the world's billionaires are among the company's clients, and that is a huge reason why UBS is where they are today. So they rank just outside the top 10 for investment banking, and their global value has skyrocketed recently. Next, we look at the ability to compete. Morgan Stanley's direct competitors are Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab, and then a little bit further down is UBS, but they are a direct competitor. The largest business segments for the company include institutional securities, wealth management, investment management. They are looking to expand to cryptocurrency. The UBS Group, their direct competitors consist of Bank of America Global Wealth and Investment Management, so Merrill Lynch is a part of that too, J.P. Morgan, and then Morgan Stanley is one of their top competitors in that branch too. They are at or near the top in private wealth management and investment banking. So if we look at the financial analysis of these two companies, Morgan Stanley's stock price is a little bit higher, as it is about close to $40 per share, whereas UBS is down towards $9 a share. Their revenue in billions is a little bit different too. UBS is a little bit lower at about 30 billion, and Morgan Stanley is just above 40 billion. Their net income, and this is for this net income, was about 9 billion for Morgan Stanley, and about $4.5 billion for the UBS Group. So we look at corporate culture for these two organizations. Morgan Stanley's 4 core values include putting clients first, doing the right thing, leading with exceptional ideas, and giving back. They're described as one of the most productive workplaces by employees that you could possibly work at. That is according to Indeed.com. And they are ran by upper-level managers, as it is a little bit difficult to move up the ranks with the company. They have 17 different offices, and NYC, Boston, Atlanta, and LA are just a few of the locations. So for the UBS Group, their mission statement is to guide customers towards a bright future for their investment, their business, and eventually their family. The employees describe the place as a highly competitive workplace, but it is possible to move up the ranks with putting in the work for any type of investment banking analyst, as long as you stay with the company for a decent period of time. The headquarters are located in Switzerland, so there is a chance that you would have to travel out of the country, but they also have plenty of locations in that tri-state area and Chicago. So why not to work for these companies? So New York is a very expensive place to live, and that is where both of these companies are located for the most part, and that will raise your cost of living an absurd amount. But when we look at just Morgan Stanley, they have settled a lawsuit almost every year since about 2003. So Morgan Stanley most recently settled a $3.2 billion lawsuit to settle mortgage issues in 2016, whereas UBS settled a ginormous disagreement with the U.S. government over $41 billion over subprime and other risky loans. So in summary, both are titans of the private wealth management and investment banking industry, and they both have major issues with tax evasion and unethical banking. Both bring large amounts of money in, and they always need people to seek help and reach out about wealth management. So this business will always be relevant. But in conclusion, UBS is the better company to work for just because it is easier to move up the ranks and it will provide for a better experience